Hey guys, welcome back to the REVan channel. We're out here at Hallett Motor Racing Circuit at one of the coolest Ford and Shelby meets that we've ever been to. The Mid-America event. It's the 48th running, and this is my second time here. He just raced in the vintage race. You can see he's a little bit hot, and he was doing it up on track. He's got this beautiful Gulf-themed 65 Mustang, and it's an original K-Code, you said,
the original K-Code.
Oh, man.
Built September the 9th of 64, 3 weeks after the first fastback rolled out to the assembly line.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
so tell us a little bit about the group, because you have a whole vintage group. There's basically all the cars from like the Trans Am era, which we love, the small blocks screaming and sounded so good. Tell us about the group that you run with, and then we'll get to talking about your particular car.
Well, the Mid-America group here allows us to come put on a vintage show for us.
Right.
Or show, yeah. And then we've got two different groups, or two different people that are run groups that we race here with,
right,
that are part of it. One is Heartland Vintage Racing,
okay,
which is out of Kansas City.
Right.
And the other is C-Bar, which is Corinthian Vintage Racing out of Texas. So we all come together, we're all like a big family together, whether we race here together or some other event, we all race together a lot of times.
Right, so they ran, yesterday they ran some practice out on track. Today they put on a show for everybody with a vintage race here at the track, side by side, door to door, and you guys were out there cutting it up.
Well, it was some pretty close fender to fender racing there. It was a lot of fun.
Like rules of engagement for you guys?
Don't hit each other.
That's a pretty good rule right there.
Yeah.
So tell us about your car. Obviously the Gulf theme speaks for itself, just absolutely beautiful, and it sounds amazing. Tell us a little bit about the engine, the history of the car, what transmission you're running.
This car has actually been a race car most of its life. Okay. It raced GT1 back early years. It was a drag race car at one time. So majority of its whole life has been as a race car.
Oh, cool.
I actually bought the car from another guy, pretty well prepared as it is.
Right.
You know, we're running 289 engine, top loader 4-speed, nothing really, you know, extraordinary or fancy.
Right.
They're just a pretty good car. The car itself is an early model K-Code.
Right.
Like I said, in September the 9th of 64.
Sure.
Kelsey Hayes brakes on the front, drums on the rear, 9-inch rear end.
So like if you're setting up a late model or a modern car, there's a lot of different racing classes, and of course there's an amazing amount of aftermarket parts. There's an obviously amount of aftermarket parts for these cars too, but you guys are limited to bias ply tires, and like you said, you can use discs in the front but drums in the back.
Right, well, and it depends on the car in the class. I run a B production class,
right.
So I can run the original 65 Kelsey Hayes brakes on the front,
right.
And then I can run drums on the rear. If it was like a Trans Am car, he could actually go to disc brakes on the rear.
Okay, so everybody's kind of building them a little bit different, but they're all themed towards the vintage type era.
It's all themed to being a vintage, correct.
So what's it like driving the car? Do you heel toe on the downshifts? Do you have to set the pedals up, or is it just kind of like go out there and muscle it around?
Well, compared to a new car, or a late model car, you're driving a good log wagon. You actually literally drive the car, you heel and toe, you brake. You know, one of the guys came with us this year, his first time in a vintage car, first day out, first thing he said is, this thing doesn't have any brakes. You know, because the late model cars will stop twice as fast as we can even come close to.
Yeah, I mean a new GT500 or GT350 with big 6-piston calipers and 14-inch rotors, you can just basically get to the corner and ABS and bury the brake pedal. These, you're thinking about it long before the corner, right?
Right. Well, we're running about 3.5 inches less caliper than rotor than they are.
Right. So does the car with the bias ply tires, I've never really driven a race car on bias plies, does it give you a good amount of communications to let it know when it's going to slide on you?
Well, they'll slide around a lot. It's not, a radial tire or a slick, it's a lot different. The bias plies, you feel it slide, you feel that you can control that either with steering, lifting, modulating the throttle,
right?
Or tapping the brake or whatever you have to at the time. A lot of different places and a lot of different steering, but there's no manual. It's all manual steering.
Oh wow. So you don't want to get behind on your steering.
No, you can get in trouble trying to gather up in a hurry.
So what do you like about this event and the Hallett racetrack?
I love the Hallett racetrack. We're actually it wasn't my first event, but this is the event that got me into vintage racing.
Okay.
And likewise for a lot of the guys here that race today, they got their start right here at Hallett in the Mid-America meet.
How long have you been racing these cars?
I've been racing these about 6 years, going on 7, somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
Live in Wagner, Oklahoma, about an 1.5 hour drive from here. Maybe that's why I like the track so much. It's not a 7-8 hour drive to go somewhere to race.
Right. So Kenny, you were fast out there, but interesting fact, I was also watching Kenny's wife out there. Their son couldn't make it, so she jumped in the car. I understand she's a drag racer, and this was her first time road racing.
Yes, first time road racing, first time out in the car. We explained the things with her. She wanted me to ride with her a couple of sessions.
Right.
We rode, and she says, I can do it. We're gone.
That's amazing. We were watching from a couple different corners, and she was hitting apexes. She was rolling the power on smooth. She looked really good out there.
Yeah, she makes me very proud doing this.
Had fun.
Didn't go off track.
I kept all 4 on the whole time. Clearly, I'm not going fast enough. Yeah, it's a little different than hammer down straight line. But
so you're going to challenge your kid for his car?
No way.
No way.
No, it's his. He's too good. The kid's good. So, but it was fun filling in this year, and I'm glad to do it. The camaraderie is great. These guys, there's a wealth of knowledge among them, and it's neat to sit back and listen to them and learn. Even you.
What a great day here at Hallett. Unbelievable, fun event. We took a look at Kenny's car, and just thank everybody for watching the channel. Please be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and let us know what you want to see. And most of all, have a great day.